Hey guys, I'm your props, and today I'm making the unique laser pistol from Fallout, the Pew Pew Laser Pistol, using my 3D printer, some filler, and some paint. So if you guys want the files, I have the link to those in the description. I modeled them in Fusion and then printed them out on my Ender 3. I can't remember the exact scale that I printed them out, but I have that scale in the description. I just forgot to look for that. I did slightly sand down all the connection points so that they fit pretty good before I glued them all together, and everything just slips into place. There's a few pegs for everything to fit into, and then I went through and painted the whole blaster with some silver acrylic paint. I'm using some Rust-Oleum metallic silver, and it comes out a pretty good silver, basically chrome but not quite chrome. I brushed on a dark red paint that I mixed up, and then I went through and brushed that on using some hand brushes. I just mixed up some acrylic paint to get this color, and then I did about 2 or 3 layers just to cover up the metallic silver, since metallic silver paint typically doesn't like to have other paints put on top of it, so it doesn't dry very well or fast, and it kind of crinkles up in some corners, creating a kind of not very nice texture. Though if you're going for a pretty weathered look like this gun, it doesn't really matter, since I am going to be chipping and weathering this paint anyways. For the yellow cable part, I just used a yellow cable that I painted. Well, it was a black cable that I painted yellow, but I went through and slid that through all of the small hole part braces that I modeled into this. If you're printing with supports, you might have to sand it down a little bit. I had to do that, and I just used my X-Acto knife to clean out some of the holes that I fit this through, but mostly it fit through all the holes. The holes should accommodate for any like 1/4 inch wire, which is what I used. And then I went through and did a black wash over the whole thing, just mixing up some black paint with some water and wiping it all over the whole thing. After giving the black paint a few minutes or so to dry, you go through and wipe away most of it, leaving it in the recessed areas to give it a really nice worn look. I did this pretty severely over the whole gun just to give it a really nice worn look that most Fallout things have. If you want to, you can do this thing with brown paint to give it kind of a rusty look, but I didn't do this on this one. I might in the future, but I didn't on this one. I also went through and hit all the edges with a wire brush just to give it some chipping, and then I went through and super glued on some wires across the 2 boxes on the top. I'm pretty sure these are some old form of capacitator. I really got to read more into that because they are pretty interesting little boxes and wires and stuff, but it's the main differentiation between this and the normal gun besides its unique paint job. I glued some black fabric across the wire, the yellow wire of the gun, to symbolize the black electrical tape that it normally holds this in place. I don't have any black electrical tape, which is why I'm using the black cloth, but it basically looks the same. And there are some versions that I've seen that do have a black cloth rather than electrical tape, so I mean it really depends on your preference, and I just used hot glue to glue on that on. Overall, I'm super pleased with how this gun turned out. I really like how the weathering turned out, and it is a pretty unique gun compared to like the normal laser pistol with its military looking paint scheme. This is definitely pretty outlandish in its paint colors, the red and the yellow, and then all the different wires and everything. If you guys don't mind checking out my Patreon and supporting me through there so that I can continue to make these videos. Some of these builds that I've been making these past few months have been requested of my Patreon, and that's where they got made. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys next vid. Bye.